of the faith. Women of the faith.
Amen.
Now I know we don't do a lot of lessons dealing with women, and so I thought I'd pay tribute to our women today.
Amen. Thank you.
All right, and the sisters, because we don't want the sisters to feel like they're left out or they're less than, because they're not.
Hallelujah.
That's right.
All right. And I also would like to say something too, dealing with a young lady out of town. Well, a young lady from England. Her name is Sister Joy Morgan, from one of the Israelite camps. I will not be calling out that Israelite camp. She has been missing since December. She has been missing, a 21-year-old college student. And she was a member of one of the Israelite camps in England. And now she has been missing since December, and we just want to send out our prayers and everything for Sister Joy Morgan and her family. Now, as far as the camp goes, I don't have anything to say about the camp. Okay, we're not affiliated with that camp, and just will give you a little insight on what has happened. The sister has been missing since December, and she was seen with one of the brothers at this camp, and he was one of the last ones that she was seen with. And so it wasn't until a month later that it was reported that she was missing. Now, the brother's supposed to be like 40 years old or whatever, and she's like 21, and I guess he's trying to talk to her or whatever. And she came up missing. And they arrested the guy from this church. And then they released him, and then they arrested him again for murder. Now, her body has not been found, so we don't know what's going on as far as she goes. But they're looking at it as a missing persons and foul play. So, you know, by it being so long now, they're assuming that she's probably passed away. We don't know that for sure, though. So we're praying for her as well as her family. Okay? So I just want to give you guys a bit of insight on that. You know, one of the sisters came to me, and then, you know, it's kind of funny, kind of strange sometimes how you do lessons, because somebody could talk to you about a lesson, right? And then turn around, somebody else can talk to you about that same topic. And that's what happened with this topic right here. One of the brothers that I know, he was talking to me about, you know, women teaching and everything. And so I explained to him, and then the sister came last week and asked me about women teaching. And so I said, okay, well, it must be time for me to do a lesson dealing with this. But not only are we going to deal with the fact of women teaching or not, but we're going to deal with women of the faith. And so we're going to show you some women, valiant women in the Bible, some heroism in the Bible, women that have even saved men's lives in the Bible. And one of the greatest men to ever live, which is Moses, his wife saved his life. And we're going to read about that. Then we're going to get down to one of the greatest women and one of the greatest persons that ever lived. It's a woman. Let's start this off in Hebrews, the 2nd chapter. Hebrews, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to pick it up in verse 5. And I just want to show you something right here, because, you know, a lot of people think that God have given men, the male, dominion over this earth. But we're going to show you, not only did he give man dominion over this earth, he gave a woman too. So let's go to Hebrews, the 2nd chapter. And I always like to point this out. Hebrews 2 and 5. Hebrews 2 and 5. Go ahead and read it.
Hebrews 2, verse 5. For unto the angels hath he not put in subjection the world to come, whereof we speak.
Now, you know, so we're going to deal with that in the future about the world to come. Okay? It's called salvation. But go ahead and read.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
But one in a certain place testified, saying, What is man, that thou art mindful of him?
Uh-huh.
Or the Son of Man, that thou visitest him?
Now, so he said, what is man that thou art mindful of him, or the Son of Man that thou visitest him? In other words, why is this man so important? Go ahead and read.
Thou madest him a little lower than the angels.
Now, so and if we keep reading this, you'll see that Jesus was made a little lower than the angels too. So what was Jesus when he walked on the earth? He was a man. He was not God and man. He was a man, flesh and blood, just like we are. Go ahead and read. He said, "Thou made this man a little lower than the angels." Go ahead and read.
Thou crownest him with glory and honor,
Uh-huh.
and set him over the works of thy hands.
So God have set this man. So it looks like it's just talking about the man right here. That God have set this man over the works of his hands. Now that's how this appears. But go ahead and read. What verse you at?
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Thou hast put all things of subjection under his feet.
Uh-huh.
For in that he put all in subjection under him.
Go ahead.
He left
See, he
nothing.
keeps saying he and him. You know, just like, he's dealing just with the man when it comes to putting things on his feet and giving man dominion. Well, let me show you something. Finish that.
He left nothing that is not put under him.
Okay, so now I don't like the way your mic sounds. So let me see. Let me do it real quick. Let me deal with your mic real quick. Go ahead and say something.
Mic check, mic check.
I'm
Mic
sorry.
check.
Go ahead.
Mic check, 1, 2, mic check.
A little more.
Mic check, 1, 2, mic check. Mic check, 1, 2, mic check.
All right. How's that?
Amen.
1, 2, mic check.
Amen.
Go ahead.
Mic check, 1, 2, mic check.
All right. That sound better?
Amen.
Okay. Now, excuse me. All right. Now, okay, so read that verse 8 one more time.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
Thou hast put all things of subjection under the sun. For in that he puts in subjection under him. He left nothing that is not put under him. But now
let's go now. So now, he said he put everything under subjection under this man right here, right? Let's go to Genesis, the first chapter, Genesis 1. Genesis 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 26. Genesis 1 and 26. Genesis 1 and 26. Everybody got it?
Amen.
Glad to see everybody come out today. Go ahead and read.
Genesis 1 verse 26. And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish.
Stop right there. Did everybody catch that? And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. Them. Who is this them? The man and the woman.
Amen.
The man and the woman. Read that again. Somebody didn't get that. Read it again.
Verse 26.
I still don't like the way your mic sounds.
And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea.
And over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
Oh, so this woman is actually man. She is actually man. She is just a female part of this species called man. You got the male part, and then you got the female part. But we are man. That is this species that we are. Man. Verse 28, go ahead.
And God blessed them.
Uh-huh.
And God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply and replenish the earth.
See, you need a woman need a man, and a man need a woman to replenish this earth. See, ain't no thing about Charles Darwin talking about a monkey and a woman. A man and a woman has to lay together to have a man child, not a woman and a monkey. Does everybody understand? Everything after its kind. You got a woman horse, you got a male horse, and you got a female horse. You got a male dog, you got a female dog. And that's the same thing with this species right here. You got a male and you got a female. And you need a male and a female in order to make a baby. And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply,
and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea.
Go ahead.
And over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
So he gave this man and this woman dominion over this earth. Notice something. We are smarter than the animals. We're smarter. We can think better than they can. You see any animal making any cars? You don't see no animals making anything, do you? I mean, they might make a nest or they might make a house or something like that, but you don't see no animals making, say, like a cell phone or a glass or a book. So God had made us, the man and the woman, wiser than all the species. Let's go now. Let's go to Hebrews, the 11th chapter. And he had put the man and the woman, he had given them dominion over this earth. Now, we're going to switch gears right here. We're going to switch gears. We're going to Hebrews 11th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. We'll get back to this man and the woman in a minute. Because we got to show you, and I know some people don't like this, but God gave man dominion or rule over the woman. Okay? And that's the order of things. But we're going to get to that later. Because I don't want nobody mad with me through the whole lesson. Okay? So we're going to pick it up in Hebrews 11 and 1. Hebrews 11 and 1. See, I can run that towards the lesson once it's over. You might be hot with me for a little bit and I can get up out of here. But I got to stand here for the whole lesson. I can't have you hot at me for the whole lesson. So I'm going to put that at the end of the lesson. But anyway, Hebrews 11 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Hebrews 11 verse 1.
Now keep in mind, we dealing with women of the faith now. We dealing with women of the faith. Go ahead and read it.
Hebrews 11 verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for. The evidence of things not seen.
Skip to verse 6. Skip to verse 6. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him.
Without faith it is impossible to please God.
For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Skip to verse 8. Skip to verse 8. Go ahead.
Verse 8. By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out not knowing whether he went.
Skip to verse 11. Skip to verse 11. So now he said Abraham, he was called to go out to the place which he should after receive for an inheritance. He obeyed the Lord. Skip to verse 11. Skip to verse 11 because we want to get to Sarah. Go ahead and read.
Verse 11. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed.
Now she was like 90 years old. So God gave her strength to conceive at 90 years old. Go ahead and read.
And was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised.
Now he said through faith also Sarah herself received strength, conceived seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. So she believed on God. She believed that this was going to happen. Although she was 90 years old. That's way past age. So you know she really had to have some faith in the Lord at this time. Skip to verse 30. Skip to verse 30. Go ahead and read. We're going to pick somebody else up too while we're here. Go ahead.
Verse 30.
Uh-huh.
By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days.
Uh-huh.
By faith, the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace.
See, she received the 2 men that were spies. They come to spy out the land. And so she hid them in her house. And so the Lord said, for this act that Rahab have done, her name shall go down in history. And not only that, she has saved her household. This is Rahab the harlot. Now, the Lord used a harlot, because you never can tell who the Lord is going to use. Amen. Be it man or woman. Well, we're dealing with women in this case. So you never can tell who the Lord is going to use. Now, he's going to use the harlot to save these men at this time. And then by her hiding these men, they came back and destroyed the city. Because of this Rahab the harlot, when they destroyed the city, she was saved and her whole household was saved. And now her name is in the book for her faith. Amen. For her faith. Skip to verse, no, go ahead and read. Continue on. You at verse 31. You do that verse 31? I'm at 32. Skip to verse 35. Skip to verse 35. I still don't like the way your mic sounds. But verse 35, go ahead.
Verse 35. Women received their dead raised to life again. And others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Now these women believed in the resurrection. It wasn't just the men that believed in the resurrection. The women believed in the resurrection as well. Let me show you something. Let's go to Genesis, the 17th chapter now. Genesis 17. Genesis 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Genesis 17 and 3. And look at what God told Abraham. But then he turned around and told Sarah the same thing. Genesis 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Genesis 17 and 3. Everybody got it? Amen. Go ahead. Genesis 17, verse 3. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
Abraham, you're going to be a father of many nations. Go ahead and read.
Verse 5. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham.
Go ahead.
For a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
Now look, he told Abraham, he said, I'm going to make you a father of many nations. Your name's not going to be Abram no more, it's going to be Abraham. And I'm going to make you a father of many nations, and you're going to be exceedingly fruitful, and I'm going to make nations of you. Now, look at what he told Sarah. Skip to verse 15. Skip to verse 15 and read it.
Verse 15. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be.
So now he changed her name from Sarai to Sarah. Just like he changed Abraham's name from Abram to Abraham. Go ahead and read.
And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her.
Go ahead.
Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations.
Now wait a minute, he told Abraham the same thing. Abraham, you're going to be a father of nations. And now he's telling Sarah the same thing. You're going to be a mother of nations. And I'm also give you a son. Now she's like 90 years old, 89, 90 years old at this time. He said, I'm going to give you a son. Said, nations gonna come out of thee.
Of nations, kings of people shall be of her.
Kings of people shall be of her. Just like he told Abraham. Nations are gonna come out of you, Abraham. Kings are gonna come out of you. I'm going to change your name from Abram to Abraham. I'm going to change your name from Sarai to Sarah. And nations going to come out of you, and kings going to come out of you. Let's go to 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. 1 Peter 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 5. 1 Peter 3 and 5. So he told Sarah the same thing that he told Abraham. Now, you don't see it in the book, but Sarah will be considered the mother of faith, because this is Abraham's wife. We are at 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. We're going to pick it up at verse 5. 1 Peter 3 and 5. Go ahead and read it.
1 Peter 3, verse 5. For after this manner, in the old time, the holy woman also, who trusted in God, adored themselves, being a subjection unto their own husbands. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
Now, wait a minute now. You see that? We better get away from this. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
Calling him Lord.
Calling him Lord. Because that's what women did at that time. That's how much respect they had for their husbands at that time. They called their husbands Lord. Go ahead and read.
Whose daughters ye are. As long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement.
Whose daughters ye are. Talking to the women now. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, called him Lord, whose daughters you are. You are the daughters of Abraham, the daughters of faith, and the women of faith. Now we got to break off from this man, right? So let's go now. Let's go to Galatians, the 4th chapter. Galatians 4. We got to break off these women off from the man, because today's lesson is about the women of faith, women of the Bible. Galatians 4 and 22. Galatians 4 and 22. Galatians 4 and 22. When you get it, brother, go ahead and start reading.
Galatians 4, verse 22. For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons. The one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman.
Now he had 2 sons. His oldest son, which was Ishmael, that was by Hagar. And then his other son, which was Isaac, the next son, had by Sarah. Remember Sarah going to have a child? Past age? And that child that she had was Isaac. So who was the bondwoman? That would be Hagar. Who would be the free woman? That would be Sarah. Go ahead and read.
Verse 23. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh.
Now who was that? That's Ishmael. He was of the bondwoman. He is a son of the flesh. Go ahead and read.
But he of the free woman was by promise.
Now he of the free woman was by promise, and that would be Isaac. That would be Isaac. Skip down to verse 28. Skip to verse 28 and read.
Verse 28. Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of promise.
See, we are the children of the promise. I'm talking about us brothers and us sisters. We are the children of the promise. So who is our mother then? Keep reading.
Verse 29. But as then, he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the spirit.
Oh, wait a minute. He that was of the flesh persecuted him that was of the spirit. Who was of the flesh? It was Ishmael. Who was the son of the spirit? It was Isaac. Go ahead and read.
Even so, it is now. Nevertheless.
Skip down to verse 31. Skip to verse 31. Go ahead. No, read on through. Read on through.
Verse 30. Nevertheless, what saith the scripture? Cast out the bondwoman and her son. For the son of the bondwoman shall not be heirs with the son of the free woman. So then, brethren, We are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free.
Now, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free woman. Just like we are sons and daughters of Abraham, we are the sons of the free woman, which is Sarah. We are sons and daughters of Sarah. Does everybody understand?
Amen.
Can't leave a woman out. Because without the woman, none of us be here, brothers.
Amen.
Praise God.
None of us would be here. Let's go now. Let's go to James, the 2nd chapter, because we want to pick up what's her name? Man, I can't remember her name.
Sarah.
Not Sarah, but Rahab. We want to pick up Rahab again. James 2, y'all excuse me for that. James 2 and 24. James 2 and 24. We want to pick up Rahab the harlot again. Because we read about her in Hebrews the 11th chapter, right? Now this was a valiant and a brave woman right here to do something like, she done went against her whole town to hide these two men. Because she had heard about the God of Israel and she had faith in the God of Israel. She said, I'm going to hide these two brothers right here so that they don't get harmed. And then the men came looking for them. And she said, they're not here. Go pursue after them. Go follow them. Because they go follow them. This is the way they went. But she had hid them on the roof. Then after the men left, then she brought them down and said, okay, it's safe for y'all to come down now. Now y'all can leave. And for that very act, her name is written in the book. She had faith in the God of Israel. We had James 2 and 24. James 2 and 24. Go ahead and read it.
James 2, verse 24.
Uh-huh.
You see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only.
Go ahead.
Likewise, also, was not Rahab...
Wait a minute. He said, you see then how that by faith, how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only. Likewise, also, Rahab the harlot. So she had some works with her faith. She had some works with her faith. Go ahead and read. Read that over verse 25.
Verse 25.
Uh-huh.
Likewise, also was not Rahab the harlot justified by works.
See, she was justified by her works. And some faith came with these works, though. Go ahead and read.
When she had received the messengers and had sent them out another way.
Go ahead.
For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also.
So faith without works is dead also. And this Rahab the harlot, she showed her faith. Although she was a harlot, she still showed her faith by her works. See, this applies to the woman too. She has to show her faith by her works. And so whatever we have to do, that's what she's got to do too. Let's go now. Let's go to Exodus, the 4th chapter. Now here's one of the greatest men to ever live. Right here, whom God talked to face to face. Face to face. And look what happened to him. A woman saved his life. A woman. We in Exodus, the 4th chapter, Exodus 4. And we're going to pick it up in verse 21. Exodus 4 and 21. We're not really going in no certain type of order. I just want to show you some courageous and valiant women. Some women of faith in the Bible. Because we often, that's mainly what we hear about when we're teaching us about men. So we need to give the women their props too. We had Exodus 4 and 21. Now look, this woman right here getting ready to save this man's life. Exodus 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 21. Go ahead and read it.
Exodus 4, verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go.
Keep reading.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
That's fair. You don't want to let my firstborn son go, then I won't let yours go. In fact, I'm going to kill yours. Go ahead and read verse 24.
Verse 24. And it came to pass by the way in the end that the Lord met him and sought to kill him.
Stop right there. Who is this right here? He met him in a way and sought to kill him. This is talking about Moses right here. The Lord was getting ready to kill him. The Lord was getting ready to slay Moses. Now, you know, Moses, the meekest man in the East at this time. He was the meekest man among Israel. Right? He done get ready to take the people and deliver them and everything, but God was getting ready to kill him. Why was he getting ready to kill him? Go ahead and read. What did his wife do?
Verse 25. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son.
Ooh, I know he was hurting. He said, then took a rock. She said, then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son. Go ahead and read.
And cast it at his feet.
Cast it at whose feet? At Moses' feet. Go ahead.
And said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. This woman has some faith right here. She understood that, look, the Lord is getting ready to kill my husband, so I better do something about this. She has some faith in the circumcision. Otherwise, she would have said, oh, he's going to be dead then. Just like give me another husband. But no, she took a rock and circumcised this boy. Why did she do it? Go ahead and read it.
Verse 26. So he let him go.
So who let who go? God let Moses go because of a woman. He was getting ready to kill him. But then Zipporah took a rock and circumcised the boy. Obviously Moses forgot. He's dealing with the people. He didn't forgot to circumcise his son. God like, you still ain't getting away with this. I'm going to kill you, Moses. And his wife, she thought real quick and she took a rock and just circumcised the boy. So he let him go,
Then she said, A bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision.
Can you imagine this? God getting ready to kill Moses because of the circumcision? And a woman saved his life? Amen. A woman saved his life. I know he had to be hugging and kissing her and everything, boy. I'm glad the Lord gave you to me, boy. Because God was getting ready to kill Moses. Let's go now. Let's go to Esther, the 5th chapter. Now, here's a woman right here that saved her whole nation. She saved her whole nation. Let's go to Esther, the 5th chapter, Esther 5. I tell you, man, you got some valiant and courageous women. I could have been just reading you stories about women in the Bible. Because there are so many of them, but we don't get a chance to hear about them all the time. We at Esther now, Esther 5, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Esther 5 and 1. A lot of us wouldn't be here. I mean, in slavery time, you read about slavery, how the Gentile, and it's even in the Bible, how men of other nations would sleep with our women when we were in slavery. And some of the women saved some of the brothers' lives. And not only saved the brothers' lives, but saved their children's lives as well. Because of this woman. We owe this woman a lot. Esther 5, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Esther 5 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Esther 5, verse 1. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house.
Now, you know, Haman at this time was trying to kill all the Jews. He itching for Mordecai, and he gonna kill the rest of the Jews. In other words, we're gonna exterminate. I'm gonna get Mordecai first, hang him on the gallows, chop his head off, then we're gonna start exterminating the Jews. But Queen Esther, because she was a queen, okay? Queen Esther stopped it. She went to the king and appealed to the king. So let's see what happened. Start that again.
Verse 5 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house, and in the royal house, over against the gate of the house. And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen. When
the king saw Esther the queen. See, this is Queen Esther right here. This is not just Esther. This is Queen Esther. Go ahead and read.
And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen standing in the court.
Now wait, you know what he did? He done put away his other wife and then set her up. She must have really been beautiful, boy. He put his other wife away and then set up Queen Esther, a Jew. You know how we had in the White House with Obama? And, let me be quiet. Go ahead and read. Go ahead, brother.
That she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter.
Because that's what the king did. You know, he wanted you to come near. He just put out his scepter and you touch the scepter and then you come. I don't care who you were. So now Esther getting ready to come forth and speak with the king. Now look what he's going to say to her. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther, and what is thy request?
What is your request, Queen Esther? Go ahead and read.
It shall even given thee to the half of the kingdom.
He said, look, I will even give you up until the half of the kingdom. Now this is a Jew. That's like I was mentioned earlier about in the White House. We had the Hamite and then we had the Jew. The Hamite being President Obama and his wife being a Jew. So now he said, look, what do you want, Esther? I will give you up until half the kingdom. Go ahead and read. And I know Obama would do that for his wife. But go ahead and read verse 4.
Verse 4. And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day until the banquet that I have prepared for him. Now, so he said, she's like, you don't let the Haman and the king come to the banquet that I'm setting up. She getting ready, set Haman up, really. That's what she's setting up. She's setting him up for his downfall. Right? So she's putting together this banquet. King, you come, and Haman, you make sure he come too. So the king like, okay, Haman, you got to come to the banquet hall. Let's get ready. We getting ready to party. But it ain't going to be no party for Haman. But go ahead and read. Verse 5. Then the king said, cause Haman to make haste. He said, cause Haman to make haste. Tell him to hurry up. Go ahead and read. That he may do as Esther hath said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet of Esther had prepared. Now Haman, he's the second man in charge now. He right up under the king. But then here comes Esther setting up this banquet for him. Look, calls him to come on to this banquet, king. And he's like, yeah, that's a small amount. Somebody tell Haman to hurry up, come on. Verse 6, go ahead. Verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? Go ahead. And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition, and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them. And I will do tomorrow as the king hath said. Go ahead. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. See, he happy now. He like, yeah, she invited me to the banquet, So he all happy and everything, but he don't realize that she set them up.
See, women, they be thinking. Way before men, they way ahead of us. Come to thinking. Stuff we didn't even think about, be looking back like, man, how'd she think of that? But go ahead and read.
Then went Haman forth that day, joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved. For him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai.
Now this is Esther's cousin, Mordecai. So, you know, here come Haman. But Mordecai, that's my cousin, she the queen, so I ain't got to stand up for you, Haman. Plus he knew about Haman anyway. So Haman coming through, joyful and everything, and everybody else probably stood up, but Mordecai was like this. He just sat there. So Haman upset now. Hey, why you didn't stand up? I don't care if she is your cousin. So Haman upset at Mordecai now. Go ahead and read.
Verse 10. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. And when he had came home, he sent and called for his friends. And Zeresh, his wife. So
now he went home, now he upset. First he was joyful. Remember he got invited to the banquet, he going home, he joyful. Then Haman put a sour note in his step. So now he done went home and told his friend, look man, Mordecai, when I walked by, he didn't even stand up. Everybody else stood up. They honored me, but Mordecai, he wouldn't honor me. So he went back and told his friend and his wife. So what his friend and his wife said, skip down to verse 14. What did he say? Verse 14, go ahead.
Verse 14. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high. And tomorrow
look, they ain't even saying, look, put him in jail or nothing. They chop his head off there. Now this is his wife and his friends saying this. Sometimes you can't listen to your wife, brothers. Sometimes, most times you can, but sometimes you can't listen to your wife because they will get you killed too. All right? I mean, let's just be fair about it. They will get you killed because we're going to see. He said, then said Zeresh, that's his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made 50 cubits high. Go ahead and read.
And tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai, unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon.
See, we're going to hang him on the gallows. We're going to hang him. What? Just because the brother didn't stand up. His cousin that he raised, right? She is queen. So I ain't got to stand up for you. This is how Mordecai probably thinking. But look, just because a man don't stand up for you, now you're going to hang him on the gallows? And his wife and his friends like, yeah, they dead on it. Kill him. So like I said, you can't always listen to your wife now because she'll get you killed. You got to use some discretion. I'll just leave it right there. Go ahead and finish that.
Then go thou and marry with the king unto the banquet. Everything pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
Now he caused the gallows to be made. He didn't say, no, I'm not killing this guy just for that. But remember, he had a thing out for Mordecai, and not only for Mordecai, but he had a thing out for all the Jews. He's going to exterminate all of them. Right? But Esther heard about it. She's like, I got to save my people. I'm talking about a woman now. She's saying, look, I got to save my people. I got to save the nation. Let's go now. Let's go to Esther, the 7th chapter. Esther, the 7th chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Esther 7 and 1. I know it's a little long here, but I want y'all to see this. Because we don't often read about the heroism of women in the Bible. So we're Hebrews 7 and 1. Hebrews 7 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Hebrews 7 verse 1. So the king and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom.
Now you keep on telling me. I wonder what's going to give her that for real. I'm going to give you up until half the kingdom. He done said that about 3 times. Verse 3, go ahead and read it.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king,
go ahead.
and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request.
She said, look, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. So she's saving the life of her people. So go ahead and read, because the king gonna ask, what you talking about? He don't even know what's going on in his own kingdom. This is his right-hand man, and he doesn't even know what he's doing or what he's about to do. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed.
Now look, she get ready to tell, she tell him now, for I am sold and my people are to be destroyed. Now he's going to destroy me and my people. You know he's going to get Mordecai. That's the first one he going to get, right? Hang him on the gallows. Then we go head hunting for the rest of them. So now, she said, I and my people are sold to be destroyed. Go ahead and read.
To be slain. And to perish.
Go ahead.
But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue.
She said, if we had been bondmen and sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I wouldn't have said nothing. But this guy trying to destroy us, he trying to kill us. Go ahead and read.
Although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen.
Go ahead.
Who is he?
Who is this? He don't even know what's going on in his own kingdom. How do you not know what's going on in your own kingdom? They get ready, this man get ready, your right-hand man get ready to destroy a nation of people. How do you not know this? Well, Queen Esther knew it. She knew it, and she saved her people. Go ahead. So he's like, well, who are you talking about? Go ahead and read.
Who is he? And where is he?
And where? Oh, he really mad now. Who is this? Where is he at? You know how men get. Who you talking about, girl? Where he at? That's how, you know how men get. Go ahead and read.
That thirst pursued in his heart to do so. And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is wicked Haman.
She said that, and Esther said that adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. He's like, what? I see him now rolling up his sleeves. Haman? Oh no. Because look at what he's going to do to him. Go ahead and read. Then
Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
See, he didn't know that she knew. He was going to try to ambush. But Queen Esther knew. Mordecai done revealed it to her. The Lord done revealed it to her. She know what time it is. You're going to kill my cousin. You're going to kill me. And you're going to kill my people? Oh, no. And she said, it is this wicked man Haman. Now he's standing there shaking. Afraid. Look what's going to happen. Go ahead and read.
Verse 7.
Now remember, she was a queen, but he didn't care that she was a queen. I bet he cares now. Go ahead and read.
And the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath went into the palace garden.
Look, she done blew his drunk. Now he was getting drunk and everything. She done blew it. You know how things make you know how people, they come to tell you something and sober you up. Now he's sober. You're like, what? Go ahead and read. Read that verse 7 again.
Verse 7. And the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen.
Now look, he begging the queen. Now he was getting ready to kill her. Now he begging for his life. See how the Lord changed that around? Due to the hand of a woman. Not only did she save herself, she saved all of her people. And her cousin, because he get ready to hang him. So now, the tables have turned now. Haman stood up to make requests for his life to Esther. He didn't even go to the king. He went to the queen. Go ahead and read.
For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
But look who he ran to. He ran to the woman. He ran to the queen, not to the king to beg for his life. Go ahead and read. Verse 8. Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine.
Uh-huh.
And Haman was fallen upon the bed thereof, whereof Esther was.
He was really begging then, wasn't he? But the king, like, wait a minute. He going back up in there and see Haman at the bed. What, you getting ready to take her now? He thinks he getting ready to do something to her. Look what happened now. Because you know how men, we get crazy in the head, we get mad, boy, you get crazy in the head. He thinks he's trying to lay with her. Haman begging for his life. The king thinking he trying to lay with my wife. You gonna lay with her too? Oh, you know you dead. Well, that's how men get sometimes. We get crazy when we get angry. We get a little crazy, right? Read that verse 8 again.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine.
Uh-huh.
And Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was.
Uh-huh.
Then said the king, will he force the queen also?
See, he done got crazy there. You gonna force the queen also? You gonna lay with her? In other words, you gonna rape her? Oh, you know you dead now. But he was in there, like I say, begging for his life. He wasn't begging the king. He was begging the queen, a woman, a Jew at that, a woman of faith. A woman of faith. Finish reading that.
Before me in the house.
Uh-huh.
As the word went out of the king's mouth,
Uh-huh.
they covered Haman's face.
Ooh. I know he had been hooping and hollering and let me go, please don't kill me. Somebody cover your head up, that means lights out. That's it for you. Lights out. Go ahead and finish.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
And Harbonah, one of the chamberlains, said there before the king, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. Hang him thereon. The gallows that he had made, I guess the people, some of Ahasuerus, his soldiers must went back to the house and looked and said, well, these gallows right, going to check Haman's house out. What are these gallows for? His wife, everybody probably tricked on him. Well, Haman made it for Mordecai. He gonna hang him. His wife, everybody done tricked on him. So the king, like, okay, so they went back and told the king, well, look, Haman got these gallows at this house that he gonna hang Mordecai on. The king, like, okay, hang him on. You see how this thing turned around? Due to the hand of a faithful woman, a Jewish woman, or a Jew woman. Verse 10, go ahead and read. Verse 10.
Uh-huh.
So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai.
Go ahead.
Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Then the king was all right. So you better be careful. You better be careful, because those same the same trap that you set for somebody, it might be set for you. Amen. But look, this woman right here saved not only herself, but she saved her whole nation. Because Haman was getting ready to destroy the whole nation of Jews. Let's go to Psalm the 7th chapter. You better be careful, because that ditch that you digging for somebody, it might be dig for you. Amen. Psalm 7 and 15, and that's just what the Lord had written. Psalm 7 and 15. Go ahead and read it.
Psalm 7, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
He made a pit.
Uh-huh.
And digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he had made.
Ooh. See, you know how we used to say, if you're going to dig a ditch, dig two. One for me and one for you. The Lord said, dig one ditch. Because the one that you dig, that's the one you're going to fall over in. Does everybody understand?
Amen.
Let's go now. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 9th chapter. Jeremiah, the 9th chapter. Because I just want to show you some of the things that the women did in Israel. We had Jeremiah 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 17. Jeremiah 9 and 17. So we're just going to look at some of the things and some of the jobs that the women did in Israel. Jeremiah 9 and 17. Because you know, Israel had midwives, handmaids, maids, and everything. But look at one of the other jobs that the women had right here. We had Jeremiah 9 and 17. Jeremiah 9 and 17. Go ahead and read it.
Jeremiah 9 verse 17. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider ye, and call for the mourning woman.
And call for who?
The mourning woman.
Call for the mourning women. Because they had women in Israel that would mourn at a death or at a funeral. They would mourn. That was their job. They would stand up there and mourn. Can you imagine that? We got the choir over here and the mourners over here and the instruments over here. Read that again.
Verse 17. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider ye, and call for the mourning women.
And call for the mourning women,
that they may come, and send for cunning women, that they may come, and let them make haste, and take up a wailing for us.
And take up a wailing for us. And so this is one of the jobs that they had to do. They would mourn for the dead, or wail for them. Go ahead and read.
That our eyes may run down with tears, and
our
eyelids gush out with waters.
Skip to verse 20. Skip to verse 20. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 20. Yet hear the word of the Lord, O ye woman, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth.
Go ahead.
Teach your daughters wailing.
Look, well, not only that, we're going to keep this going from generation to generation. Teach your daughters to mourn or to wail. Read that one more time.
Verse 20. Let hear the word of the Lord, O ye women, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth.
Go ahead.
And teach your daughters wailing, and everyone her neighbor lamentations.
And everyone her neighbor lamentations. So not only do we have the women mourners, but look, we're going to teach your daughters to mourn. You women, teach your daughters to wail and to cry. Let's go now. Let's go to Numbers, the 6th chapter, Numbers 6. Because a lot of times you hear about Nazarites. Okay, but men weren't the only ones that could be Nazarites. Women could be Nazarite too. We had Numbers, the 6th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Numbers 6 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Number 6, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite.
When man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite. Go ahead and read.
To separate themselves unto the Lord.
To separate themselves unto the Lord. So now if you keep reading this, you'll see where it keeps saying he, but this applies to a woman too. Because it said, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite. So a woman can make a vow of a Nazarite just as well as the man. And she had to do these things that the man had to do. She had to do them too. And we're not going to go through the things that you had to do to, well, we're going to read a definition of Nazarite. Let's do that. We're going to read a definition. So right here.
Nazarite, a person under a special vow.
A person that's under a special vow.
A vow of separation to the Lord. During the period of this vow, the Nazarite was not to cut his hair, touch a dead body, drink any beverage, or consume any product of the grapevine.
Now, so the woman, if she's going to vow the vow of a Nazarite, what does she have to do? The same thing. She had to do the same thing. Let's go now. I'm just showing you some of the things that the women did in Israel. Okay, let's go now. Let's go to no special kind of order, nothing. Okay, now let's go now. Let's go to Exodus, the 15th chapter. Exodus 15. Exodus 15, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 20. Exodus 15 and 20. Now look at this. This is Moses' sister right here, and look at what she was called. Exodus 15, and we're going to pick it up at verse 20. Exodus 15 and 20. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read.
Exodus 15, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
And Miriam, the prophetess.
And Miriam, the prophetess, uh-huh.
The sister of Aaron,
uh-huh.
took a timbrel in her hand.
Uh-huh.
And all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances.
Go ahead.
And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath trumped gloriously. The horse and his rider he thrown into the sea.
Now, so they were singing about what had happened when the children of Israel came through the Red Sea. But you see what he called, he said, and Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron. Now, some people teach that the prophetess is the wife of the prophet. Well, I don't read that in the Bible. I never read that in the Bible. If somebody can show me that, then I'm good with it. But so far right here, we don't even see where Miriam was even married in the Bible. So the book called Miriam a prophetess. Now we're going to look at another prophetess. Let's go to Judges, the 4th chapter. Judges, the 4th chapter. Now, I could have showed you another prophetess in the New Testament. But for the sake of time, we're going to deal with this one right here. We're at Judges, the 4th chapter. Judges, the 4th chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 9. Because this prophetess right here, which is Deborah, whom our street is named after, right? And that's who our street is named after, Deborah, because this town is called Zion, which is what? Jerusalem. And then the streets are named after some of the figures of the Bible.
Amen.
Like you got Gabriel, Deborah, you understand? So this prophet right here, Deborah, she's going to give an actual prophecy. She's going to give an actual prophecy. So we're at Judges 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 4. Judges 4 and 4. Go ahead and read.
Judges 4, verse 4.
Uh-huh. Now look at what else she was. Go ahead and read.
And Deborah, a prophetess.
A what?
A prophetess.
A prophetess. What else was she? Go ahead.
The wife of Lepido.
Uh-huh.
She judged Israel at that time.
Now, she judged Israel at this time. Notice how they brought her husband in? Why they bring the husband in? Because the man, I better not say that right now, shut up. We wait till I get to the end of the lesson. Read that verse again.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And Deborah, a prophetess, the woman of Lepido,
uh-huh.
she judged Israel at that time.
She judged Israel, so not only was she a prophetess, but she was also a judge at this time. So men would come to her, people would come to her, and she would have to judge their matters. And on top of that, she was a prophetess. And she gave a prophecy. She just wasn't called a prophecy, she gave a prophecy.
Amen.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramoth and Bethel,
Uh-huh.
in Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment.
See, the children of Israel came to her for judgment. A woman. Does anybody understand?
Amen.
Because we don't hear much about our women, but we honor them today. Go ahead and read. I know Mother's Day is coming up soon, but we honor our women today. And we honor our women every day.
Amen.
I never could figure that out. How you going to honor mama one day?
Right.
But anyway, the book says, honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long upon the earth. So we won't just honor mama one day. But anyway, verse 6, go ahead and read it.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam,
Uh-huh.
out of Kedesh Naphtali, and said unto him,
Uh-huh.
Have not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun.
Now look at what she said there. And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, Have not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw towards Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali, and of the children of Zebulun? Go ahead and read. Now this is a woman telling him this. Go ahead and read.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon,
Uh-huh.
Sisera,
Sisera,
the captain of Jabin's army.
Now he said, and I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon, Sisera. Now the Lord get ready to draw Sisera out. Right? Because Sisera was at this time battling with the children of Israel. So she said, did not the Lord tell you to go send 10,000 men out to draw out Sisera by the river Kishon? Go ahead and read.
Kishon, Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army.
Oh, go ahead.
With his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him unto thine hand.
He said, I'm going to deliver. Now she giving him this prophecy. The Lord told her to say this, and she said, look, he's going to be delivered into your hand. This captain right here, Sisera, he's going to be delivered into your hand. So draw him out with 10,000 men to the river Kishon. And I'm going to deliver him into thy hand. Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
And Barak said unto her, If thou wilt go with me, then I will go.
Now look, he asking a woman now. Look, you see this? He asked the woman, he said, look, if you go with me, I'll go. Go ahead and read.
If thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go.
She said, he was like, if you don't go, I'm not going. So he had some faith in this woman, right? So he said, look, if you don't go, I'm not going. Verse 9, go ahead.
And she said, I will surely go with
She
you.
said, okay, man, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you. Go ahead and read. But the Lord had already given her the prophecy to give to him. Sisera, he's going to be delivered into your hands. But look who he's going to be delivered into your hands by. Go ahead and read.
Notwithstanding, the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor, for the Lord shall send Sisera into the hand of a woman.
Stop right there. He says, look, this honor is not going to be given to you, but the Lord is going to sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. Uh-oh. Go ahead and read. You know, women, they cruel sometimes. You know that, right? What this sister going to do? Read that one more time. Verse 9.
Verse 9. And she said, I will surely go with thee. Notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. For the Lord shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh.
Now, so she said, Sisera is going to be sold into the hand of a woman. So now they done took off now. She done took off with him. Skip down to verse 13. Skip to verse 13. Go ahead and read. Look at what happened. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
And
Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron. And all the people that were with him from Harosheth of the Gentiles unto the river of Kishon.
Go ahead.
And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, For this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera into the hand.
And see, look, she said, get up now, because this is the day that the Lord is going to deliver Sisera into thine hand. But look, but she already told him, gave the prophecy, said, Sisera is going to be sold into the hand of a woman. Right? Amen. Go ahead and read.
Is not the Lord gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him.
Go ahead.
And the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his hosts with the edge of the sword before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet.
That must have been so hot, boy. He done slipped off of his. Ain't nobody watch me, and took off and ran. Now he the captain now. You know, the captain's supposed to go down with the ship.
Right.
He done took off. But this was a plan of the Lord, though. Because remember, he had to be sold in the hand of a woman, right? So now he done jumped off his chariot and took off. I know his chariot driver had been looking at him, look, where you going, man? But he ran, look where he ran into. He probably wish he had to stay. Man, I wish I had to stay on that chariot if he could talk after this. If he could talk, he probably, man, I wish I had to stay on that chariot. But the Lord would have got him either way. But anyway, so now he done fled, took off running. Right? Verse 16, go ahead.
Verse 16. But Barak pursued after the chariot and after the host unto Harosheth of the Gentiles, and all the host of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left.
Now he done killed all of his men, right? And the captain's supposed to go down with the ship. But no, Sisera, he was like, look here, this thing is too hot. Let me get out of here. And what happened? Go ahead.
Verse 17. Howbeit, Sisera fled away on his feet into the tent of Cha.yil, the wife of Heber, the Kenite. For there was peace between.
Hold on. So he said, now, howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Cha.yil, the wife of Heber, the Kenite. You know, sometimes women can be cruel. Because look at what she's getting ready to do right here. This was cruel. Go ahead and read.
For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber, the Kenite.
Go ahead.
And Cha.yil went out to meet Sisera and said unto him, Turn in, my lord, turn in to me. So now he's thinking everything cool. So she's like, come on in, my lord, come on in, turn in to me. Yeah, you'll be all right. Go ahead and read. Fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle.
Look, she done covered him up now. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be all right. Go ahead and read.
And he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty.
That's his last drink. That's his last drink. He said, give me some water. She's like, here you go. Gave him some milk. Go ahead and read.
And she opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink and covered him.
Now he's just like a baby. He drank that milk and went on to sleep. Thinking everything is all right. I'm going to be all right. All my men there, I'm the only one left. And now this woman has saved me. Verse 20, go ahead.
Verse 20. Again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man doth come and inquire of thee, and say, Is there any man here?
Go ahead.
Then thou shalt say, No.
Now you be the lookout now, because I'm getting ready to get some sleep. You be the lookout. Right? So she's looking out for him. Yeah, okay. Going on to sleep. Go ahead and read.
Verse 21. Then Cha.yil, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent.
See, I told you, sometimes women be cruel. Now, she done took a nail from the tent. You know the long nails that you beat down in the rope and then put the tent down? That's what it is. She done took a stick. She said, yeah, I'm going to get him. He sleep too. Look at what she did, man. Start at verse 21 again.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
Then Cha.yil, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent and took a hammer in her hand.
Ooh, that was, took a hammer with it. She didn't just, she went, and look how far and look how cruel she was. but the prophecy was that Sisera was going to be sold into the hands of a woman. Who gave that prophecy? God gave that prophecy to Deborah. And Deborah told Barak, look, don't worry about it. Sisera, we're going to chase Sisera by the river, and then he's going to be sold to the hand of a woman. Now, Deborah was a prophetess and a judge in Israel. She was a faithful woman. And look at this woman right here. Look at this woman. Go ahead and read.
And took a hammer in her hand. And went softly unto him.
Go ahead.
And smote the nail into his temple.
And smote the nail into his temple. She just hit him one time. Look what she did. Go ahead and read.
And fastened it unto the ground.
And fastened the nail to the ground. So you know she hit him more than one time, because women ain't gonna have that much strength. She done beat this nail. Boy, when the Lord delivered, he delivered on it. So you ain't going nowhere. He probably woke up, what in the world? Well, he probably didn't wake up, I'm just saying. She done beat this brother's head into the ground. And I'm almost scared to say it again. And smote the nail into his temples,
and fastened it into the ground.
And fastened it into the ground. Go ahead.
For he was fast asleep and weary. So he died.
So he died. Go ahead and read.
And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Cha.yil came out to meet him, and said unto him, Come, and I will show thee the man whom thou seekest. And when he came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temples. Just like Deborah prophesied, a woman of faith. She prophesied that Sisera was going to be sold into the hands of a woman, and truly he was sold into the hands of that woman. She done beat his head down to the ground with a nail. That is really something, man. Let's go now. Let's go to Ruth, the 3rd chapter. Ruth, the 3rd chapter. Now let me just show you something that was said about Ruth. Now Ruth is the great-great-grandmother of David. King David. Look at what was said about her. Ruth, the 3rd chapter. Ruth, the 3rd chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Ruth 3 and 7. When you get it, brother, start reading. Ruth 3 and 7. Go ahead. Ruth 3, verse 7. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn. And she came softly and uncovered his feet and laid her down.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. You know, he was laying there, and so he's like, what's this next to me? You know, and so he turned around, and there she was laying. Ruth. Go ahead and read. And he said, Who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thine handmaid. Go ahead. Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. Go ahead. For he said, Blessed be thou of the Lord. Blessed be thou of the Lord. Now this is what he's telling Ruth now. Because everybody knew what type of woman Ruth was at this time. Ruth the Moabite. Go ahead and read. Blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter. For thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than the beginning. Inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. He said, look,
You don't follow after young men. Look at what kind of woman he called her. Go ahead and read.
And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to thee all that thou requirest. For all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman.
For all the city know that thou art a virtuous woman. A virtuous woman. Now, I guess y'all can go figure out where I'm going from here, right? So now, we're going to deal with the virtuous woman right here. Let's go to Proverbs, the 31st chapter, Proverbs 31. We're going to deal with this virtuous woman. Proverbs 31, because this is what the Lord wants his men to look for, his servants to look for, his men. A virtuous woman. A virtuous woman. We have Proverbs 31, and we're going to pick it up at verse 10. Proverbs 31 and 10. Go ahead and read it.
Proverbs 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman?
Go ahead.
For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her.
Now, wait a minute. So he said, her husband doth trust in her. Her husband doth trust in her. Go ahead and read.
So that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
Now, who wouldn't want a wife like this? Who wouldn't want a wife like this? She's going to do him good all the days of her life. This is the type of woman that the Lord wants his servants to have. A woman that's going to do him good all the days of her life. Go ahead and read.
Verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax and works willingly with her hands.
She's not afraid to work with her hands. She's not laying around doing nothing all day, watching TV and stuff. You know, waiting on him to get home with the check. She at home working. Go ahead and read. You know how some sisters are. Put the check on the dresser. Then she go and cash it and give him $20 out of it. Let's move on, brother. I ain't trying to get no trouble. Go ahead and read.
Verse 14. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar.
Go ahead.
She riseth also while it is yet night. And giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field and buyeth it.
She consider a field and she buys it. You know, she's dealing with real estate. She's like, oh, that's some good land over there. I'm going to go and buy it. Normally, that's what a man would do, right? But this virtuous woman, this is what she does. She see the field and she goes and buys it. That's a good field over there. I think I'll buy it. Go ahead and read.
With the fruit of her hands, she planteth a vineyard.
See, she's not afraid to work. She go out in the garden, plant a vineyard, and go out in the garden work. Verse 17, go ahead.
Verse 17. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms.
Skip to verse 20. Skip to verse 20. Go ahead.
Verse 20. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. She reacheth forth her hands to the needy.
See, she's not afraid. You know, she sees somebody that needs something, she gives it to them. You understand? She's a giving person. Skip to verse 23. Skip to verse 23. Go ahead and read it.
Her husband is known in the gate.
Now, wait a minute. Her husband is known in the gate. Now, he getting props off of her. He getting his props from her. Her husband is known in the gates.
When he sitteth among the elders of the land.
When he sitteth among the elders, man, you got that. That's brother so-and-so. He got that good wife. He getting his props off of her. He probably looking at him like, man, what about me, man? Talking about my wife. So he getting his props from his wife. She's a good woman. Go ahead and read. All the elders talking about her. Man, that is really something. Skip to verse 26. Skip to verse 26. Go ahead.
Verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom.
She everything not flying out of her mouth. She's not just saying anything out of her mouth. She opened her mouth with wisdom.
And in her tongue is the law of kindness.
And in her tongue is a law of kindness. Because you know how sometimes you get those women, they just, you just got to sit there and like, Because you really can't argue no women in most cases. Some cases you can, but in most cases you cannot out-argue a woman. You might well leave it alone. I heard somebody say you might well leave that alone. Amen. Sometimes brother gotta dumb it down and just be quiet. Amen. Yes, dear. Right? Sometimes you get at her, but most times, yes, dear. Right? Go ahead. What verse you at?
27.
27. Go ahead and read.
She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
See, she always taking care of things. She take care of the business. You understand? She take care of that business. Go ahead. This is a virtuous woman. Go ahead and read.
Her children arise up and call her blessed.
Look, Mama, you a blessed woman. You understand? Her children love her. Her children call her blessed. Go ahead and read.
Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Her daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellently give them all.
Thou excellest them all, this virtuous woman. He said, many of the daughters have done virtuously. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all, this virtuous woman. She excelleth them all. And I'm gonna, like he called Ruth a virtuous woman. And all the city knew that she was a virtuous woman. A good woman. A woman that's going to take care of the business. And who wouldn't want a wife like this? That's going to take care of the business. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. And I can't say that my wife, she takes care of the business. 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. 1 Corinthians 11, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. And every man knows what they have at home. Every man knows what he's got at home. And I will say my wife does take care of business. 1 Corinthians, Gerald said mine too. I hear you, brother. We got any more? We don't speak up. 1 Corinthians 11. 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. Say, Gerald, she the one I got to sleep with at night. I hear you, brother. 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. Go ahead and read.
1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. But I will have you to know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of the woman is the man.
Wait a minute now. See, that's why I said I'm going to wait till I get towards the end of the lesson to bring this. Because, you know, some women try to wear the pants in the family. But that's out of order. And that's why you have a lot of divorces. Because the woman don't want to let the man. I'm not talking about y'all. So. Sure. The woman don't want to let the man take his rightful place. Oh, I make more money than you, so I'm running. No, I'm still the head of the household. Amen. Thus saith the Lord. Amen. Amen. And don't forget who the one gave you that job that you making more money than me. Amen. Because he will take it from you, and then I'll be making all the money. Because I'm the man. So read that verse 3 again.
Verse 3. But I will have you to know, at the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man. See, you know, Paul is putting it in order to the Corinthians. But I would have you to know that the head of every man is Christ.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the man. Go ahead and read.
And the head of Christ is God.
And the head of Christ is God. He's putting things in order. Amen. Because this is the order of things. Amen. God is head of Christ, Christ the head of the man, and the man is the head of the woman. And woman, if you want to be head over somebody, you can be head over the children then. We give you somebody. But women, some women want to be the head of the house. And that is out of order. Now we're going to come back to this in a minute. Let's go now. Let's go. Look, I see the women leaving now. Where y'all going? Don't want to hear this part. Genesis 3. Genesis 3. My wife said, you were old for that. Genesis 3 and 16. Genesis 3 and 16. And this is where the Lord set it up, that the man is the head of the woman. Genesis 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 13. Genesis 3 and 13. Go ahead and read it.
Genesis 3, verse 13. And the Lord God has said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
Go ahead.
And above every beast of the field.
So, she went and talked to the serpent, which God had told her, every beast of the field is good. He told her, every beast of the field is good, but the trees in the midst of the garden, don't eat of it. So I know he told the woman the same thing. Adam had to tell his wife, otherwise, if she didn't know, why would God punish her? So she knew that she wasn't supposed to be talking to this serpent. But she saw that it was good and pleasant to the eyes, and then, how women, they see the diamonds and everything. Diamonds are a woman's best friend. So Satan coming in all these precious stones, she like, ooh. And she went over and started talking to Satan. Right? And so she got in trouble for this. Go ahead and read. Read verse 14 again.
Verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
Go ahead.
And above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Now, that's because he went and tricked the woman. You understand? He went and talked to the woman. Right? Verse 15, what does it say?
Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
I'm going to put enmity between, and we're going to come back to this. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Notice it said her seed. Now look, this woman that we're going to deal with later, she's spoken even of back here in Genesis. One of the greatest people or greatest women that ever lived. Spoken of right here. In Genesis right here. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
It shall bruise thy head. And thou shalt bruise his heel.
Verse 16, what does it say?
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
And thy desire shall be towards who?
Thy husband.
And what else?
And he shall rule over thee.
And he shall rule over thee. He shall rule over thee. Not though, I ain't talking about you do like I tell you to do. No, that's olden days stuff. We ain't talking about that. You understand? The man is the head of the house. He is the head of the house. Let's go now. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. Back to 1 Corinthians, 11th chapter. I'll let y'all cool off for a minute. 1 Corinthians 11, and we're going to pick it up at verse 4. 1 Corinthians 11 and 4. I'll let the women cool off for a minute, and then we'll come back to them. We're just going to deal with the praying and the women covering their heads right here. Let them cool off, see. 1 Corinthians 11 and 4. 1 Corinthians 11 and 4. Go ahead and read it.
1 Corinthians 11 verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying have his head covered. Dishonoreth his head.
Go ahead.
But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one, as if she were shaven.
See, that's why we ask the women to put on scarves when they come in. He said, because if she doesn't have her head covered, she dishonoreth her head. For this is even all call one as if she were shaven. It's like she's bald-headed when she praying or prophesying. That's why we ask the woman to put a covering over your head. Go ahead and read, because I know some people. Keep reading.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn.
Let her also be shorn. Let her also be shaved if she be not covered. Uh-huh.
But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered.
Let her be covered. Go ahead and read.
For a man indeed ought not to cover his head.
He ought not to cover his head. Does that mean he got to cut his hair off? He's talking about he is to uncover his head with a garment, a hat, or a cap, or whatever. Right? I ain't going to say scarf, because scarves are for women. I know some guys be, anyway. Go ahead and read.
For as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man.
The woman is the glory of the man. The woman is the glory of the man. Oh, they'll join us back again. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
Oh, so the woman was created for the man. That's what the woman was created for the man. Go ahead and read.
For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels.
Go ahead. What angels are we talking about? The evil angels. She is to have power over her head because of the evil angels. Go ahead and read.
Verse 11. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man.
These two go hand in hand. Because you can't reproduce, a man can't reproduce without a woman can't reproduce without a man. Go ahead and read.
In the Lord. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman. But all things of God.
Go ahead.
Judging yourselves. Is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered?
Now, is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered? Go ahead and read.
Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
Go ahead.
But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her.
It is a glory to her.
For her hair is given her for a covering.
So now I know some people gonna say, well, you ain't got to put, women don't have to put no cover over their head. Yes, they do. He said it is given to her hair is given to her for a covering. Okay, so now the man got to uncover his head, right? The woman got to cover her head, the man got to uncover his head. If this was talking about hair, right? That's her covering, meaning that she don't need no garment over her head. Then that means then the man got to uncover. That means he got to shave his head every time he praying and prophesying. Is that the book talking about? This hair that the woman got is her glory. It is her covering for her head. But she is to cover her head with a garment because of the angels. Just like the man got to uncover his head when he prayed and prophesied. He had to take that garment off his head. Verse 15 again.
Verse 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her. For her hair is given for her a covering. But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of God.
Now, let's go to 1 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. Uh-oh, it's getting ready to get a little hot up in here. 1 Timothy 2. Because, you know, this is one of the questions that the sister was asking me about last Sabbath, about a woman teaching. So now, let's see what the book says about it. Because, you know, you got a lot of big women preachers, which are not supposed to be teaching. The book calls them Jezebels. And now, keep in mind now, sisters, we're talking about the women of faith now, so don't get upset. Women of faith. So if you're getting upset at me, then you must not be a woman of faith. 1 Timothy 2 and 9. 1 Timothy 2 and 9. Go ahead and read it.
1 Timothy 2, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel,
Uh-huh.
with shamefacedness and
Sobriety. Uh-huh.
not with brown hair or gold
Uh-huh.
or pearls or costly array.
So she is not to come into the church and wear the clothes that she normally wears outside. She's, showing her shape and all of that type of stuff. A woman is not supposed to dress like that in the house of the Lord. Does everybody understand? Modest apparel. Go ahead and read.
Verse 10.
Uh-huh.
But which becometh women professing godliness
Uh-huh.
with good works. Let the woman...
See, she said, which becoming women professing godliness with good works. See, she's got works to do too. It's not just the man that's got the works to do. It is a woman that has works to do too. Because a lot of our secretarial work is being done by women. You understand? A lot of our, when we do our slides and everything, that's being done by women. Amen. So I want to give credit where credit is due. The women stepped up and said, hey, brother, I'll do it. We do our Black History program. Danielle is the one who put that together for the videos and everything. She does that. Yeah. Everybody understand? Our women, they prepare the food and everything. The men serve it when we have our feast. The women prepare the food. I can't cook. I can serve some, but I can't cook. And them sisters be throwing down. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
Verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
Now keep in mind, women, we dealing with women of the faith. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Uh-huh.
But I suffer not a woman to teach,
uh-huh,
to usurp authority over the man,
uh-huh,
but to be in silence.
Now he said, but I suffer a woman. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Now look, if a woman is standing here, then she has usurped authority over the man. Because the man, if he's standing here, he's a pastor, right? Who is the head of the woman? Man. But if she's standing here, this is an authoritative job right here. This is for a man right to stand right here. And if a woman stands right here, then who's in authority?
Right, that's right.
The woman is.
That's right.
And she is not to usurp authority. Not saying that a woman can't teach, you understand, because we're going to show you. That a woman can't teach not to stand right here. Now I know a lot of women get mad and upset about that, and I don't care what the book say and all this stuff, but look, we're talking about women of the faith. And you're a woman of the faith, then you understand. Yes, sir. You don't get in, because I know women get emotional, but you don't get in your feelings when it comes to this. Men or women, you don't get in your feelings when it comes, because this steps on men's toes just like it steps on women's toes. Yeah. So when Paul is writing Timothy that right here, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. She is to be in silence. What verse should we? I done got nervous. Go ahead and read.
It's all right now. Verse 13. For Adam was first formed, even Eve.
Adam was first formed, then Eve. So God made the man the head. He said, look, the man is going to be, you're going to be saved in childbearing, right? And then your husband is going to rule over you. If she's standing right here, then she's doing the ruling. She calling the shots. She's standing right here. That's why we don't, I ain't going to say allow. I ain't going to say that. The Lord don't allow women to stand right here and teach. Not me, the woman. The Lord knows sometimes I could use a break. I love this. Don't get me wrong. And sometimes I could use a break, But we ain't got nobody, I'm going to be here. God willing, I'm going to be here. But you will not see a woman standing here, not teaching. Go ahead and read.
Verse 13.
Uh-huh.
For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
Uh-huh.
And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Uh-huh.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
Uh-huh.
If they continue.
Now maybe we should have read this part right here. Paul said it'd be barefoot and pregnant. Notwithstanding, she should be saved in childbearing if they continue in the faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. See, we are dealing with holy women, faithful women, and faithful and holy women understand and accept that this is not their place. They accept that. But then you got some women that get upset about, oh, you can't, man always wants to. God set things in order. We didn't. Man didn't set things in order. God did. And for those women that are faithful and holy women, they accept this, that they are not supposed to stand here. Let's go now. Let's go to 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter. 1 Corinthians 14. 1 Corinthians 14, and we're going to pick it up at verse 34. 1 Corinthians 14 and 34. Everybody got it?
Amen.
Go ahead and read it.
1 Corinthians 14, verse 34.
Uh-huh.
Let your women keep silence in the church.
Uh-huh. See, he's trying to get this point over to the Gentiles. Let your women keep silent in the churches. All the apostles were what? Men. You know, you had a few prophets, prophetess, but for the most part, the prophets were what? Men. When the Lord set up the church, how did he set it up? With the men. When he set up the priesthood, who did he set it up by? The men. Aaron and his son. Then he took the tribe of Levi, gave them to Aaron his son. Men, though, not the women. Go ahead and read, because I know Aaron had daughters too. And the rest of the priests, they had daughters too. But go ahead and read.
Let your women keep silence in the churches.
Uh-huh.
For it is not permitted unto them to speak.
Uh-huh.
But they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law.
As also saith the law. Go ahead.
And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home.
We making this perfectly clear. He said if she's going to learn something, let her ask her husband at home. Uh-huh.
For it is a shame for women to speak in the church.
It is a shame for women to speak in the church. That's not for them. They can't say nothing. You know, they can go and teach the children. You understand? I'm going to show you. Let's go to Acts 1, the 18th chapter. Because here is a man and his wife teaching another man. But notice something. The man is there. It's not just the woman there. It is the man there with her. Why? Because the man is her head. Let's go to Acts 18 and 1. Acts 18 and 1. Acts 18 and 1. Just like we read about Deborah. Says she was the wife of, what's his name? Abelard, whatever his name was. Right? It mentioned the man. Why? Because the man is the head. And now look at Priscilla and Aquila right here. We're in Acts 18 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Acts 18 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth.
Uh-huh.
And found a certain Jew named Aquila,
Uh-huh.
born in Pontus, lately came from Italy, with his wife Priscilla,
Uh-huh.
because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them. And because he was of the same craft,
Uh-huh.
he abode with them, and wrought, from by their occupation they were tent makers.
So she was working too. He said for by rock, their occupation, they were tent makers. So she working with them, with her husband. Skip down to verse 24. Skip down to verse 24. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 24.
Uh-huh.
And a certain Jew named Apollos, born at Alexandria,
Uh-huh.
And
eloquent man.
Eloquent men,
Uh-huh.
mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus.
Ephesus. So now here this man, he eloquent in the scriptures. You understand? An eloquent man and mighty in the scriptures came to Ephesus. Verse 25, go ahead.
Verse 25.
Uh-huh.
This man was instructed in the way of the Lord,
Uh-huh.
being fervent in the spirit. He spake and taught diligently the things of the Lord, knowing only the baptism of John.
Uh-huh.
And he began to speak boldly in the synagogue,
Uh-huh.
whom then Aquila and Priscilla
Now look,
learned.
Aquila and Priscilla, they came together and did what?
And learned.
Uh-huh. And heard.
Heard.
Uh-huh.
Had heard. They took him unto them
Uh-huh.
and expounded unto him the way of God more perfectly.
Oh, they expounded to him because he was just teaching about the baptism of John. So here come Aquila and Priscilla, a husband and a wife, and expounded on him the word of God more perfectly. So notice something though. The woman wasn't there by herself. She had a man there with her standing there teaching this man. What was his name? Simon? Whatever his name was. It was a husband and a wife team there. Not just a woman. Let's go to Titus, the 2nd chapter. Titus, the 2nd chapter. Titus 2, and we wind it down now. Titus 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Titus 2 and 1. We'll wind it down. Titus 2 and 1. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read. We know that women can teach, just not right here. 2 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Titus 2 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine.
Go ahead.
That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith,
Uh-huh.
in charity, and patience.
Go ahead.
The aged woman likewise.
Stop right there. You see that? Likewise mean as well. So he said, but speak thou the things which become a sound doctrine. The aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, and charity, and patience. The aged woman likewise. Go ahead and read.
That they be in behavior
Uh-huh.
as becometh holiness.
Go ahead.
Not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
See that? Teachers of good things. Women now. Teachers of good things. Go ahead and read.
That they may teach the young women to be sober,
Uh-huh.
to love their husbands,
Uh-huh.
to love their children,
Go ahead.
to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home,
Uh-huh.
good, obedient to their own husbands,
Uh-huh.
that the word of God be not blasphemed.
Let's go now. Let's go to Joel, the 2nd chapter. Joel, the 2nd chapter. And look at this, what Joel had prophesied right here. Joel, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 27. Joel 2 and 27. Joel 2 and 27. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read it.
Joel 2 verse 27.
Uh-huh.
And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel,
Uh-huh.
and that I am the Lord your God, and none else.
Go ahead.
And my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh.
Wait a minute. He said, I'm going to pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Uh-huh.
And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy.
And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your sons and your daughters. See, we know that women can teach. They just can't stand here. So if your sons and your daughters going to prophesy, then that's what's going to happen. They are going to prophesy. Go ahead and read. You let a brother say Jesus, see, don't that sister be in his face. Or on their job and they talk about the Bible and everything, she going to jump right in the midst of them with her Bible.
Amen.
Your sons and your daughters going to prophesy. Uh-huh.
Your old men shall dream dreams.
Uh-huh.
Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids.
Also upon the servants and upon who?
The handmaids.
That's women, ain't it? Isn't it? and the handmaids,
In those days will I pour out my spirit.
Go ahead.
And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth. Blood and fire and pillars.
See, he just put a time on it when he's going to do this. We're talking the end time prophecy right here. Verse 31. Go ahead.
Verse 31. The sun shall be turned into darkness. And the moon into blood, before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come.
Now, let's go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, Genesis 3. Because I want to show you something right here. Genesis 3. Go back to Genesis 3, and we're going to read verse 15 again. Genesis 3 and 15. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read. We got 2 more after this. Genesis 3 and 15.
Genesis 3, verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman. And between thy seed and her seed.
I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Who is this talking about? Let's go to Isaiah the 7th chapter. Isaiah 7. We got one more. Isaiah the 7th chapter. Who is this talking about? Isaiah 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 14. Isaiah 7, and never has this been done in the history of man. But it's been done, that has been done with this woman right here. Isaiah 7 and 14. Isaiah 7 and 14. Go ahead and read it.
Isaiah 7, verse 14. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive.
A virgin shall conceive.
And bear a son. And shall call his name Emmanuel.
Now this has never been done in the history of men. Except with this one right here. A virgin shall conceive. Because everybody else that has been born by way of a man and a woman. Right? So now he said a virgin is going to conceive. Let's go to Luke, the 1st chapter. Luke 1, this will be last. Luke 1, and look at what the book is saying about her. And look, the Bible is spoken of her all the way back in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Luke 1 and 26. Luke 1 and 26. This will be last. Luke 1 and 26. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read it.
Luke 1, verse 26. And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee.
Read a little louder.
Named Nazareth. To a virgin exposed to a man whose name was Joseph.
Now he said to a virgin. Espoused to a man whose name was Joseph. Remember, a virgin is going to conceive. She's going to have a son. They should call his name Emmanuel, right? So now this virgin right here is espoused to the man David.
Of the house of David. And the virgin's name was Mary.
Oh, this is the one that was spoken of all the way back in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. I'm going to put enmity between the woman and thy seed, and the woman's seed and thy seed. His seed and the woman's seed. Look at what the book is saying. Go ahead and read.
Verse 28. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou that art highly favored, the Lord is with thee.
Go ahead.
Blessed art thou among women.
Blessed art thou among women. She is blessed among women. This is really something, ain't it? Go ahead and read. Now, you know, God sent Gabriel to tell her this. So God is the one that's saying this. You, Mary, are blessed among women. Go ahead and read.
And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying. And cast in her mind that what manner of salutation this should be. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus.
And you're going to bring forth a son, and you're going to call his name Jesus. So this is one of the most famous women, and we still call her name today in the Catholic Church. Even when they do their prayers, They still call her name even today. So I thank you, and I hope everybody got some understanding from this lesson, and we honor our women. Let's give them a hand.